the tariffs that I am moving to is a graph that we are given, and it says the graphs below show the water tariffs for Cape Town and Johannesburg. Study the graphs, and basically every question that we're going to be answering is based on these two. We've got Cape Town over here, and we do have Johannesburg over there. So we will be comparing the two graphs. These are horizontal graphs, okay? And they're not just horizontal graphs, but they are horizontal bar graphs. And because it's a horizontal bar graph, you need to know the types of graphs that you will be given. So don't just know one type of graph. How do we know that it's a horizontal bar graph? It's the spaces that you have in between the graphs. However, if there were no spaces in between the graphs, then we would then call them histograms. Okay, that's the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. The difference is that a bar graph does have those spaces in between. Let's go and see what we are comparing in these two cases. So here it says to us in step 1 that from 0 to 6, but we need to know exactly what we are talking about. It's from 0 to 6 kiloliters. Okay, so this is the graph that compares between Johannesburg and Cape Town, and it shows the water tariffs that we are working with. So here from 0 to 16, it is free. And then we've got our new one, which is then 4 Rand and 56. So we are comparing two things here if you look at it properly. And then we've got the kiloliters happening again there, kiloliters per month. Step 1, 0 to 6. We do have our 7 Rand and 14. That means anything between 0 to 6 kiloliters is going to be free or was free initially, and then it increased. There it says to us, there is an increase. And because there was an increase, it then becomes 4 Rand and 56. So on and so on, also applying to Johannesburg over there. Look at how beautiful this is. It says to us over here, the keys. Your graph will have your keys. If you feel like your graph is not making sense, look at your keys. And the keys here is at the darker one, because you will not, and I repeat, you will not get a color in paper, yes, color in paper. So your keys here from 2016 to 2017 is going to be the darker ones. So it's going to be the ones before. And then the lighter ones are going to be 2017, 2018. So you're comparing between those 2 years. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go now and answer our questions based on what we have been given there. So the first thing, 1.1.1, let's look at 1.1.1. That question says to us, state the type of graph used to represent this data. I've already said it. Beautiful. It's a horizontal bar graph. That's all that it is. It's a horizontal bar graph, and we are comparing the two categories between each other, the 2 years between each other. So horizontal bar graph. 1.1.2. Arrange Cape Town's percentage increase in descending order. So with this particular one, I'm not going to write it down, but I'm going to explain it to you. Anything that is in descending order, D, I always say D means down. So it is going down. So descending is from biggest to smallest. So you would take the percentages and then you would arrange them from biggest to smallest. Actually, let's go write it down and see what we have been given there. Cape Town. Cape Town is the first one over there. The biggest one is your 71. So your 71 would be the first one. This would be the first percentage. And this would be the second percentage, which is your 51. And you would have that being your third one, which is 10.3. And you would have your 4 over there and your 5 happening over there. So that's what you need to do in terms of arranging it in descending order. So I always say descending, going down from biggest to smallest, ascending, going up from smallest to biggest. So that's how you would differentiate between your descending and your ascending. Okay, that's what you would do. Let's look at the next question. 1.1.2, 1.1.3, sorry, says to us, identify the step that indicates the largest increase. So we need to identify the step that indicates the largest increase in rands in Cape Town's water tariff. So we want to identify the one that talks about the biggest increase in between. So let's go to Cape Town and look at the biggest increase in rands. So looking at it, this would be from 4 rand, so it would be from 0 rands to 4 rand and 56. And the next one would be about 1 rand, if not a couple of cents in between. Here already I'm seeing a bit of a big one. And here I'm seeing a bit of a big one. But look at this huge step here. Look at this one. That one is very, very interesting. I'm even going to use a little different color. So there already you're working with bigger numbers. And then whoop, we've got this huge, huge one. So I'm going to be using this increase over here because it looks like it's the biggest one. But I can go and use the other ones if I want to. But I can already see that this one's going to give me the biggest one. 302 Rand and 24 minus 210 cents. That gives me 102 Rand and 14 cents. That increase for me already looks super, super big. And if I were maybe to say that maybe the other one also gives me, from step 5, also gives me something similar, I would go and see and compare those two together. 66.41. Already, I can see that doesn't give me such a huge increase. So I already know that my 302 and 24 minus 210 cents, which is 102 and 14 cents. So it's step 6, which is 102 and 14 cents. Stunning. 1.1.4. Determine which one of the two cities water is more expensive. That is so beautiful. So how do I compare this? All I'm doing is looking at the prices and seeing which one is more expensive. And automatically, when I look at it, I see that Cape Town has bigger prices. Therefore, Cape Town, for me, is looking like it's more expensive. But am I making the correct assumption? And what exactly is my assumption based on? Let's go and look at step 1, for instance. Step 1. So step 1 in the first one, it went from 3 to 4 Rand and 56. Step 1 in Johannesburg. Let's look at step 1 in Johannesburg. It went from 0 Rand to 7 Rand 14. So maybe my assumption is not correct. Let's go to step 2 in Cape Town. Step 2 in Cape Town, I'll put a little tick, and step 2 in Johannesburg. Step 2 in Cape Town is then 16 Rand and 56. Look at that over there. And then we've got 17 Rand and 75. But if we go to Joburg, look at Johannesburg over there. It's 7 Rand and 14 and 7 Rand and 58. And going all the way down, let's look at the maximum. The maximum over here is 38 Rand and 72 cents. But look at step 6, 302 Rand and 24. Automatically, guys, I look at it and it's not just an assumption. I've went and I've compared these two things and I've measured them against each other. You can use your calculator if you want to do that. And I can see already Cape Town has really expensive water, okay? And it makes sense because a lot of people complain about how expensive it is to live in Cape Town. So we can see, according to our graphs over here, that living in Cape Town is not the cheapest. So that question will then be Cape Town. Stunning. 1.1.5. 1.1.5 says to us, calculate the cost. So we need to calculate the cost of 3.5 kiloliters of water in Johannesburg during 2017-2018. I need you to pay really close attention to this one. Maybe it's not that difficult, maybe it's easier, but let's see. It's this type of question that then throws people off. Okay, so we want to see how much it's going to cost for 3.5 kiloliters of water. Let's go up and compare using our table. 3.5 kiloliters of water. Look at that. 3.5 kiloliters of water falls under the first bracket. Okay? Are we given the year? Are we given the year? Yes, 2017, 2018. So do not use the wrong year. So we know that we have had an increase of some sort. Look at that. 2017, 2018. So we know it's going to be the lighter one. Oh, definitely it's the lighter one. So we are going to be using this particular one. Okay? So we are looking sorry about that, we are looking for Johannesburg and not Cape Town. So we are going to be looking at this particular one over here. So it's going to be 3.5 kiloliters. So it's 3.5 kiloliters of water times, it's Johannesburg, remember, and Johannesburg is 7 rand and 14 cents. So it's 3.5 times 7 rand and 14 cents, which gives us 24 rand and 99 cents. So it would definitely cost us 24 rand and 99 cents to use 3.5 kiloliters of water. And this is kiloliters, guys. It's not liters, it's kiloliters. So we are working with a much bigger number over here. Let's look at the last question in terms of the tariffs that we have been given over here. The last question is 1.1.6. And the question says to us, is the data given categorically or numerically? It's a famous question, guys. These are the type of questions that you need to be aware of. You need to be ready for. It's the free marks. It's 2 marks. 2 marks. So you're running with these 2 marks all the way to the finish line. So it says to us, is it categorical data or is it numerical data? I'm going to explain the difference between the two so that you walk out of here equipped. Categorical data is anything that you can categorize. And I mean, it says whatever it says for itself, right? Categorical data is data that you can name. So if I can name this apples, bananas, that's fruit. Fruit is categorical. If I can name it blue, yellow, green, that's categorical. It's colors, right? Cars, I'm not going to mention car names right now. If I can mention that type of category, then it becomes categorical. Boys, girls, uniform, that's categorical. And then we have that thing now that we call numerical data. So it's categorical data, which is the opposite of numerical data. Numerical data also explains itself basically. It's numbers, okay? Anything that's numbers is numerical data. So in this particular case, what are we given? Let's look at our chart over here, our annexure. This is definitely numerical. It's numbers. It's all numbers. So the type of data we are given here is numerical. When you know your information, it will not be difficult for you to have confidence in yourself. Look at the questions that always repeat themselves. Questions such as, What type of graph is this? What type of data is this? Those are the things that you can always try and put at the back of your head, and you're getting free marks for, basically.